Oh my gosh, Megan Wilson.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, look at you're in your room. I love your pillows. What does
Thanks.
your husband think about those pillows?
He at first was repelled by them, but he has come to love comfort and yeah, he doesn't complain.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad we're sitting here sharing this time and this space together. And thank you for accepting my invitation to having a conversation because I think it's so important for you guys who have gone through my certification training to find your voice in this world in being able to articulate what it is that you do, what it is your service is, and why you love to work with people at this really unique level. And oftentimes we're having these conversations in our continuing education classes or when we meet and stuff, but people aren't sitting around listening to us. And so thank you. I appreciate your time. And I know you have kids at home schooling today. And so we're going to give ourselves permission that if life happens, and we'll just move through it and we'll deal
Oh,
with it.
I locked the door, so hopefully we don't hear any blood curdling screaming in the background.
Okay.
Brushing fingers, but thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity. It's something that I would never reach out and say, "Oh, Tina, let's do this," because it's so out of my comfort zone. And but I realize that I need opportunities to grow, and I know that doing something uncomfortable like this will help that happen. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful. Thank you
Yeah. We need to push our comfort zones, expand them, huh?
for sure.
One thing I'd like to ask you is, and I'm always curious, and I think people, and as you meet people too, it's like, well, how did you get into Feng Shui? I would love to know, like, your path. My path is different than yours, and how did you end up, like, doing Feng Shui and in being here?
So, as I was working on my interior design program, one of the elective classes that I could take was Feng Shui. And there were a couple other classes that I had considered taking, and that could have benefited me in different ways, depending on what aspect of design I decided to go down. But when I read the description and I talked to leaders in my school, they really highly recommended it. And I really just felt pulled to Feng Shui. And it wasn't going to help me technology wise with different programs. But I just really felt that I needed to take this class. And aside from design, yes, it does help in design, but it was more of a personal decision to help me in my spiritual journey, which I don't think I really realized at the time. So I took the elective class through my interior design program, and it wasn't enough for me. You gave me just kind of surface level stuff. And I remember asking questions like, Tina, like, I need more. This doesn't make enough sense. She's like, you said, I'm sorry, I can't share that with you, because there's rules on as the things that you could share. And so that led me to reaching out to you and discovering your amazing program where you taught me everything else that I needed to know that I wasn't getting through my college program.
Yeah, just so everybody's clear, you have an interior design degree, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And so I was teaching at the college where you're, and I still am, that interior design class. And it that was a fun class because there was a couple of you that actually came through the training out of that one class at different times.
Mhm.
And yeah, you had good questions. And it just seemed like a natural place for you to go. And I didn't have to talk you into it or
Oh, no.
convince you or anything like that. It just seemed like that's the next natural step for you.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, you have a snake in your four pillar chart. And I think that's why you connect with it because the snake is so naturally intuitive
Hmm.
and introspective and sensitive to the environment that combining those two worlds of creating a beautiful space for someone but also creating a space that somebody can thrive in, a space that supports their overall well-being. And from what I'm seeing and in hearing about you, you're melding the two worlds in such a seamless, beautiful way, creating a really nice experience for your clients. Are you finding that people are intrigued by your interior or your feng shui infusion?
Yeah, I put it out there, like, and people ask me, so, what type of design do you do? And I tell them, I'm an interior designer, but I specialize in creating feng shui interiors, and they're really taken back by it. They don't hear of people like me doing what I do, and they're just really curious as to what a space looks like feng shui. So, I think I'm just kind of starting my business. And so I feel like, as people learn and grow in this crazy age that we are in right now, people wanting feng shui interiors, will grow. And so I'm really excited, to where this can take me personally and all of us as, a collective.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in class, the first day of class when I'm teaching it at the college, you know, I'm very clear when I say to the students and say, it's one thing to teach or to create a beautiful space for somebody, but if your client doesn't sleep well in that bedroom, or if your child is failing in school, or if everybody's always arguing in the living room, then something's off.
Right.
And that's where feng shui brings that kind of unseen perspective, really looking at the energy of this space. And, I'm envious of you because you have that ability to bring in the interior design part. I don't do that part. I'm just more the vibe. And so I just love that you're able to do that. So with this world that you are, these two worlds that you're bringing together, what is feng shui to you? How do you describe it to people?
Um, People have their ideas of what feng shui is, but for me, I would describe it really as a tool, like a spiritual tool to examine spaces beyond surface level. So to see maybe objects or, the layout, as energy. So it's really a tool to, create the energy that supports the people that live in that space.
Yeah, I like that. Beyond the surface, I think that's what you said. That was because we see things that are obvious, but then we also feel things
Right.
that I think that's part of our job is to get in and get people to feel and to really connect with their space at that level.
Yeah, it's tricky as a designer because, my job is to create an atmosphere that, supports my client, but the client really needs to connect with those objects and everything that goes into it, because if they don't, then it's just someone collecting stuff and putting it in their space. And really, that's my job, is to listen to my client, to figure out what they need, and that is done through their 4-pillar chart, energetically, to help support their space and to benefit them in the best way possible.
So, how important is that 4-pillar chart, that Chinese astrology chart, in setting you up to working with a client?
It is key. I really like to see that before I even meet with the client. So I get to know, like, okay, what is this person expecting of me? What is their personality? And it really is kind of like the inside scoop for me on what I need to give to these people to help them, be happy and thrive. So it really is essential.
Yeah, and so you're going to pull a chart for everybody who lives at the house or works in the business.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so important. So now, do you do just 4-pillar chart readings separate from like a consultation or an interior design project?
Yeah. A lot of times I'll meet with clients just to do a 4-pillar chart, and then they'll talk about things in their home that are bothering them or not really working well. As an interior designer, I can look at it and say, oh, well, this energy, really isn't, it's kind of trapped. You're not getting enough energy into this space. And then it will kind of build from there. So a lot of times it will start with a 4-pillar chart reading, and then they'll want me to, examine their floor plan and their space on a deeper level.
How do you like doing those readings? Are you seeing some like, do you see people? I mean, I see people have aha moments. I see people start crying. I see people just feel relieved, like, thank God. What's your experience with the charts?
Yeah, almost always people are just blown away, and that can look like silence, like this, or it can be like, oh my gosh, tears, crying, like I can't believe that this is just right here. Like they just don't get it, and so that's why I think it's so helpful and such a really great tool for people to kind of know more about themselves on a deeper level.
Yeah, I think you can see some really big shifts,
Yeah.
and it's really profound. Have you had any experiences with clients? And I know you're like just diving into this. You're working in a design firm, and you've got, you know, just the world is open up to you. You graduated and everything and did the certification, and then we kind of hit this big pandemic pause button. But in the meantime, how are you connecting with people?
A lot of the experiences that I have are just with close family and friends, um, and then referrals, friends of friends. One great experience that I had was with a friend, and I did his chart, and he is extremely high in fire, which means he's like out there, he's energetic, and for him, his mood and temperament is volatile. Like he's really moody, and he just really can affect people. So as I'm doing his chart, I'm asking him like, so how do you really calm yourself when you get in those heated moments? And he said, I really like to go swimming. I really like being around water. And I said, that makes a lot of sense because you have 0 water in your chart. And he was
Oh, wow.
blown away. Like, for me to tell him that he needs water to balance himself, you could just see the light bulb go on. And I think that's where the 4-pillar charts are really powerful, because he can recognize that he can do things subconsciously that balances him, but when he can choose to do it consciously, that's where you have the power. I'm going to do something consciously to balance myself. And he was just blown away by that.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
such a good example. And I think people are, innately intuitive, but we're not taught to trust that intuition, right? And so you're like confirming to him, it's like, no, when you feel like you need to go swimming or take a vacation to the beach, follow
Yep.
through with it.
It's so empowering to just realize that we have that capability to bring balance to ourselves. It's really
We
neat.
really do. We really do. What it seems like every feng shui practitioner I know kind of has like a go-to. Like if you had like 5 minutes with somebody, or if somebody said, "Hey, what's a feng shui tip I can do for myself?" Do you have something that you kind of rolls off the top of your head immediately?
Yes. One thing I tell my clients is when I go into their space, if they're kind of overwhelmed, if there's lots of stuff in their house, I would say really examine everything in your space. Let's say they have a sculpture of like a sad horse or something on their desk. Really ask yourself, what does items or that item exude? Is it a positive energy? What does it make you feel? Are you keeping it around just because your neighbor next door gave it to you? That's not a good enough reason to keep things in our home. And so, really examining our space and the energy that it gives off to us, because we are a reflection of our space.
It's so true. I know we've talked, about this before in our classes, that we're triggered. We are triggered constantly, by something somebody says, or a choice somebody makes, or something we see on TV. And we have trigger points all over our homes, whether it's a pile of unfinished laundry, or, bills that need to be paid, or something, like you said, a gift from somebody that we really don't have a good relationship with,
Mm-hmm.
or, the symbolism of things. We don't realize the energy that items in our house emit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I'm kind of along the lines of you. It's like you have to really see your space and realize that whatever is out here was created by the person that was in here at the time.
Right.
And maybe that sad horse sculpture was very reflective of a period of life you were going through 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you've moved past that, and maybe
Right.
you've moved on and you're remarried, or you've got your new job. Does the energy of that horse still support where you are now?
Right.
Those changes, we have to make those changes. We change constantly. We're not the same person we were yesterday. And so part of feng shui is to make sure that our environment is keeping up with us.
Mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
how do you work with people then on an interior design level to make sure that there's still space to make changes without like repainting or buying new furniture and stuff?
If people don't want to do that, and that's not necessary to change the energy of the space, we can do adjustments to furniture, objects, and really feng shui should start personally. It should start internally before we start on the space. So I think space or 4 pillar chart comes first. Once we feng shui ourselves, then we can feng shui the rest of their space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. So I'm assuming you have a website,
Yes, I do.
and so people can and do you have an Instagram page? I know that, and people can follow you on Instagram. How can
Sure.
people stay connected? Because you have such beautiful taste
Oh, thank you.
in your mood boards that I've seen, and in the style that even in the project you did in the class, in the college class. You have such a stunning style, and I don't even know if style is the right word. Taste. You just have impeccable taste, and you can even see by looking in your background. So I want people to be able to, follow you. So where do they find you?
Sure. They can go to my website, which is valenciaid.com. And on there, they can reach out and contact me. And then they can get kind of a idea of what I do. And then for Instagram, it's Valencia ID Interiors.
Okay.
And yeah, they can reach out to me there as well.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Do you, by chance, do any of this remotely, like right now, like the 4 pillar chart readings or helping people with their spaces?
Yes, I actually have done a few recorded 4 pillar chart readings. So I'll read it, record it, and then send that to the client.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of an easy way to do that 4 pillar chart reading. Um, and then for the space analysis, that can be done remotely. It's a little bit trickier, but as long as there's good communication before and after that,
Mm-hmm.
it can definitely work.
Yeah. I think people are getting better I think the average person's getting better at Zoom and using their
Well,
their iPhones and stuff to videotape.
you kind of have to. There's not really much of a choice.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial overall.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. Why do you think feng shui matters so much? Why it's important right now?
Um, hmm. I think right now we as a collective are kind of disconnected from our personal journeys. We are so glued to social media, our screens, and there's so much chaos in the world right now. There's so much going on, and I think feng shui is can be one of the keys to help grounding ourselves, kind of pushing us back inside to
Mm.
really reflect on what's going on with ourselves.
Wise words from a snake. Because I mean, you're speaking to that snake energy, where it is about internal growth and change. And I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
We're so externalized, worried about what everybody else is doing and not doing. And we really need to come inside and do our inner feng shui.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it matters. How are you getting, this is a kind of a question that just came up. Are you finding it frustrating, or are you finding it maybe easy to even have the feng shui conversation, or to get it out there and let people know about it?
Yeah. Honestly, it's something I wish I was brave to share with everyone,
Mm.
because a lot of people aren't just ready to hear that. And that comes from my own personal worries about what people think of me. And I need to break those barriers, because it's something that needs to be shared with everyone, whether they're ready to hear about it or not. Just the idea of it, I think people need to hear. So I need to be brave. It's not easy for me at all. But with some people, it does come up. I feel that urge to share it with certain people.
Yeah, and I think even hopefully having these kinds of conversations will, help people, give them different insights and how people are using it differently.
Yeah.
You are one of the practitioners that's infusing it directly into another field of work that you do, and just expanding upon that and opening the world. So bravo to you for doing that and finding your voice. And I agree with you. I think more people need to know about it and know the depth of it.
Right.
And that there's people like you who have that sensitivity, who are intuitively driven, and you can really provide such profound insights for people in guiding them, even if it is just a 4-pillar chart reading, until they're ready for the next level. And by the way, I just saw a photo on Instagram of a little space that you created for a Pilates studio. You changed this little white walled room in this Pilates studio to this little boutique room, for her to sell merchandise.
Cute.
Holy cats.
It was fun.
It,
She has such a great space already,
mm-hmm.
that it was kind of easy to create that for her. But yeah, it is a fun space to be in. I'm excited for her and her business.
Yeah, and it looks like you've allowed some space for her to add things to it.
Yeah, she definitely started small.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the whole design goes, she grabbed a piece of it, which is fine. She
Mm-hmm.
has the whole plan, and if she wants to build on it, she can do that.
Yeah, brilliant. It was brilliant. It's just, and I can tell that that room is going to move outside into the rest of her studio and infuse,
Yeah.
even the entry. I'm sure she's already having that conversation in her head, if she hasn't already had it with you, that she wants some input into the
Yeah.
other areas.
Yeah. She's a work in progress, her spaces, and I'm so blessed to know her and to really collaborate with someone like her, because she's amazing.
Mm-hmm. As are you.
Thanks.
So you guys were a perfect fit.
Yeah, it worked
So
out.
is there anything before we sign off here that you want to share, with people, a message, a thought to leave them with, or, even just a call to action, and how you would love to support people right now?
Um, I think right now, I would say that everyone, including myself, needs to be present. It's so easy to just look forward to 2021 and to hope for things to get better, or hope for my space to be better when I decide to start a remodel. But I think I and everyone just need to be present and to be grateful for the time that we have. And I want to thank you for sharing your feng shui life, spirituality, energy with me, because if you wouldn't have done that, then I wouldn't be where I am today spiritually. And I'm so grateful for you.
I feel the same. It's so interesting how our paths cross, isn't it?
Yeah,
When we meet people when we're ready. And I mean, for you to be sitting in the college class and now we're here, and
I know.
it's amazing.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I am going to put down in the description the links to your Instagram page, your website. I encourage you guys, if you even want to just jump on a call, I'm sure you have somebody can call you for free,
For
right?
sure.
And just have a conversation, 15, 20 minutes of your time to just kind of explore where they're at. Because I think people are feeling, we're kind of locked into our spaces now, and maybe they're feeling like maybe I need to shift some things. And having a professional interior designer and a feng shui consultant wrapped into one person, why
Pretty
not?
cool.
That's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So I hope people will reach out to you. You're such a gem, and you're such a tender-hearted, caring person. And I know that however you work with people, you touch their lives. And I know you're a lot like me, where it's reciprocal. It's just this energy exchange that you're learning and exploring this world through them just as much as they're getting out of you.
Yeah.
So thank you for showing up in
Thank you.
all your brilliance, and have a lovely day.
Thank
And I
you.
hope to see you soon.
Thanks. Me too. Fingers crossed.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.